Let's talk about Chapter 2, Types of Programs. All right, so this is going to be a pretty quick one. We're talking about the different types of programs in early childhood education and care. So here we go. Early childhood programs are developed to meet the needs of children outside their homes. Um, Also, they're developed to meet the needs of families, right? So, providing for children's safety and health needs, offering services that meet their physical, social, emotional, intellectual, and language needs. Those are things we're going to talk about a lot as we talk about child development and curriculum and programming. Physical development, social, emotional development, intellectual development, and language development. Incorporating education and readiness programs and activities for children to prepare them for school, and collaborating with families and helping them care for and educate children. So the primary reasons that we have child care programs are: one, to prepare children for living in the real world as adults. So this is a place where children can learn to share, to develop relationships with other people outside of their families. So it's expanding their world from the family that they have spent all of their time from zero to whatever in, to the larger world, right? That's one. Number two is giving children a place to go when their parents go to work, right? And three is developing their educational experiences and background. So, various programs focus on various parts of those um, philosophies differently, and we'll talk about that as we go along. So, what are the types of programs and the factors that determine them? The ages of children, right? We're not going to have, you know, wildly disparate ages. We keep children together mostly by age, although there are some programs that group children differently. In Illinois, in DCFS qualified programs, certified centers, there are strict rules about what age groups can go together and how that works. So other things that determine types of programs: philosophical, theoretical, or theological ideals. Is a program religion based? Is a program culturally based, right? So is this a program for Greek children? Is this a program for children who belong to a Christian church? Is this a program for Muslim children? So is this a program that is focused on developing independence in children, or is this a program that's focused on academic achievement in children? Those are things that determine what the program is. The goals of the program: what do we want children leaving this program to have? The purpose: was the program developed as a place for children to spend time while their parents are working? Is it a place that was developed to give children specific skills? Is it a program that was developed for children who have hearing difficulties or mobility issues? The requirements of the sponsoring agency. So if the sponsoring agency is a church, a requirement may be that you need to offer prayer in your classroom every day. The quality and training of teaching staff obviously has a huge impact. We'll talk about that. Shape, size, and location of the physical environment, right? So if you're starting a child care program, your first stop is DCFS in Illinois, and they can tell you, based on the square footage of the space that you have, how many children you can have. Cultural, ethnic, language spoken, economic, and social makeup of the community. Head Start is a program that is geared toward lower income children. Financial stability and professionalism of the staff. These are all things that determine what kind of program you have, how successful it is, the quality of what you offer. So you all know that there are all kinds of early childhood program types. We have part-time daycares, we have full-time daycares, we have parent co-ops where parents are required to do part of the teaching, cleaning work. Religious schools, those that have a specific religious philosophy. Preschool, private and public. An example of that would be in Champaign, for instance, a private preschool would be like La Petite is a private preschool, or Chesterbrook. Those are private preschools and also daycare. Um, and then public would be early childhood through the public schools, right? We do have public preschool in Champaign County and in most counties in Illinois for children who have developmental disabilities, developmental delays. We don't have public preschool for all children in Illinois. Um, Licensed home care. These are people who have a home care program in their home and they're licensed by the state. On-site childcare, that would be like a preschool program or childcare program that's linked to a corporation or business. So the Caring Place in Urbana, in Champaign-Urbana, is part of the Carle Hospital program. Lab schools here in Champaign at the University of Illinois. There's the Child Development Lab, which is a school, preschool within the University of Illinois that is used as a research facility for early childhood studies. And then you have things like in-home care, babysitters and nannies, before and after school care provided by public schools or daycares. Crisis nursery in Champaign, we have a wonderful thing called Crisis Nursery, which is basically a nursery where you can drop your kids off for no charge or, small charge if you have a crisis. And then informal babysitting arrangements. So there are a variety of program types all across the board in the United States. And then we talk about how people are grouped and looped. So mixed age grouping is based on developmental levels and how children can work together. So that would be, 3s to 5s. There are some limits in Illinois if you're a licensed program on how you can mix children together age-wise, but there are advantages for that. It gives older children an opportunity to be mentors. It helps children develop different kinds of friendships, but there are drawbacks as well. Older kids can be, sort of the dominating force in the program, and young kids can be pestery, and you have to really provide a variety of activities that are going to appeal to everyone, and teachers need to be able to work with all ages, right? And then looping is having children move with teachers. So a teacher might teach kindergarten and first grade, and the children stay for 2 years. This is great for emotional security and stability. Teachers get, very deep knowledge of the children that they're working with. They develop deep relationships with the families and the community. But, if you have a kid that you don't get along with, you've got them for 2 years. And sometimes you just have kids that aren't a good fit with you. And it is a lot of time for kids to be together. So we talked about Head Start a little bit in the last lecture, and I'm going to include some more information here about Head Start. Head Start is, like I said before, one of 2 national federal child care programs in the United States. Head Start in every state looks similar to every other state. So my Head Start in Champaign is going to look a lot like your Head Start in Decatur. Same qualifications for teachers, same programs are being offered. There is a community board in each Head Start program made up of people from the community, parents and former parents who have input into the program, but there are guidelines that are across the board from Head Start to Head Start throughout the country. We have early Head Start, which is from birth to 3, and then Head Start is 3 to 5. Head teachers have a minimum of a bachelor's degree in early childhood education. Aides can have associate's degrees and less. This is part of the United States Department of Health and Human Services, but some people think maybe it should be out of the Department of Education. It generally costs taxpayers about $8,000 per child annually, and it has to comply with federal performance standards. So there are standards that children in Head Start must meet, which reflect on the teachers and the local administration of the program. Like I said before, Head Start's goal is to promote school readiness by helping children develop their social skills, their cognitive skills, learning specific learning concepts, by providing health, educational, nutritional, social, and other services to families.
From the beginning, Head Start has offered comprehensive services to children and families. These include educational, health, and social service support, all of which ensure children are ready to learn. From the moment families first come to Head Start, we work with them to set family goals and address their most pressing needs. We help them identify their strengths and, most of all, help them find their own voices.
The teachers were amazing. The help. It wasn't just, okay, give me your child, I'll watch your child while you're at school. It was, okay, I'll watch your child. Do you need something? Do you have a house? Do you have transportation to school? Do you have enough food? Let me show you all these programs that can help you.
Head Start offers a lot of services that foster children's growth and development, such as health screenings, linking families to medical homes and to community services, and providing safe, nurturing, and engaging learning environments.
I think Mom was really surprised, and Head Start was saying, well, this is what we can provide for your child, things in the home that they can help her with through home visits and just at school following up on how to work with Elias.
A través del programa, yo siento que he progresado mucho con ellos, porque ellos me han enseñado bastante y he seguido adelante sí con ellos, porque si no, pues no creo que fuéramos muy adelantados con el caso del niño. Es muy alegre y me siento contenta, feliz con él.
Another part of comprehensive services is supporting social and emotional health. Relationships are the foundation of Head Start and of early learning.
Young children who are emotionally connected to others are more likely to show positive developmental and learning in later years. Outcomes like good social skills and greater initiative. Young children who are emotionally connected to others may show less negative behavior, such as aggression. And these relationships may buffer or protect young children from the adverse effects of a variety of stressors.
Truthfully, relationships provide the pathway for children to grow and develop. Parents are their child's first and most important teacher. And so to the extent that in our programs, we really set a foundation of expectation where parents really do understand the critical importance of the role they play in helping to foster their children's learning and development through responding to cues and providing support as they are learning to explore the world around them, it makes a tremendous difference in children's ability to develop confidence, curiosity, and all of the things that really make for a really great start in life.
Head Start includes a mixture of adult-directed and child-directed learning experiences that can occur inside or outside the classroom or home. Each interaction between the child and the adult is an opportunity to support social and emotional development, communication and language, and thinking skills.
What's making it go down?
With the water.
The water's making it go down?
Yeah.
Do you think
it's making
It is, Jason says it's very, very strong. So if you just leave the sand right here without the water, will it go all the way down? What do you think? You want to try? Okay, go ahead.
Healthy nutrition is another comprehensive service.
What really makes a healthy diet for an infant or a small child? What I think of as healthy, nourishing food may be very different than the diet that someone else might choose to nourish their child with. People all over the world and in different communities and families eat differently.
Mealtimes offer opportunities for social interaction, learning new concepts, and developing fine motor skills. All of these comprehensive services strengthen parents and families so that in turn, they can help their child prepare for school, and not just school, but for their whole life.
Okay, so that was from a few years ago, but it still holds true, I think. There are estimates that $1 spent on early childhood programs that are high quality for low income children will result in up to $7.30 in benefits, including increased wages, improved health, and reduced crime. So, and when we talk about these programs, we're talking not only about how it impacts the child, but also how it impacts the family. Think about it this way. Women still in the United States are primary caregivers. And if women are unable to find high quality care for their children, they can't work. And you can't survive without work, right? So there are a lot of issues in our country with how do we make childcare appropriate, high quality, affordable, accessible to everyone. And Head Start has, been a model for this. Okay. In addition to Head Start, we now have Early Head Start, which I said is children birth to 3, plus prenatal women. This is home-based services. So Early Head Start is going out to families to help them in the home, providing them with education, information, health, and well-child checks, support for children with disabilities, parenting training, etc. And this is, again, all for children birth to 3 who are in low-income households. Migrant and seasonal Head Start. We don't think about this, but there are families that come to our country to do work that is seasonal. So they might be picking apples part of the year, oranges another part of the year, and they move around the country looking for that kind of work. And that's actually even becoming a more frequent thing in the United States. So there are children in those families who are moving from place to place throughout the school year. How can we help them? So we have migrant and seasonal Head Start, so that we can help those families. And then American Indian and Alaska Native Head Start, which is for children of families of American Indian and Alaska Native backgrounds. So does it work? And we talked about this a little bit last week. It has been extensively researched over the past 50 plus years. Since it's a federal program, right? Our tax dollars are going to pay for it. We want to make sure that it's effective. The 2010 Head Start Impact Study, which was 11 years ago now, showed benefits for children who attended Head Start, language and literacy, cognitive and social emotional outcomes. At the end of first grade, children who went to Head Start at 3 to 4 did better on vocabulary, had more positive relationships with caregivers, better behavior, more positive approaches to learning, better dental care, better health. But by the end of 3rd grade, there appears to be no significant remaining impact. Well, what we know is that if you're doing it when you're 3 and 4, you're getting all of these supports and all of this help and encouragement, and your family is as well. And then that may go away once you get into kindergarten. The assumption is that what happens at 3 and 4 is very important to your, total development. And that's absolutely true. What the problem with this is that it doesn't stop when you're 5 and you go to kindergarten. So you don't just automatically not need all of those supports anymore. So of course, the positive effects of Head Start are going to wear off if you're not continuing to provide all of the services and support that you were in those, really important 3 and 4 years. So what we do see from Head Start is that parent involvement is increased, right? And they provide more significant support for language and learning. What happens a lot of times is parents who are involved in Head Start learn how important it is to talk to their babies and their 3 and 4 year olds, and how to talk to their babies and their 3 and 4 year olds. So that is an important skill that parents whose children are involved in Head Start gain. They read more and more often to their children and longer to their children. Parents need to learn how to read to children. And if people aren't teaching them, it's a really hard thing to do. Head Start parents appear to invest more in their children. They're just around them more. They understand better how children work because they've spent more time with them. And they're more likely to use a parenting style characterized by high warmth and high control. The more time you spend with someone, the more you understand someone, the more empathetic you are, and the more loving you are toward them. And so this is a benefit of Head Start. So then what we need to do is assess program quality. And there are a variety of ways to do this. Standards are imposed on Head Start from the federal government. You need to meet certain standards. In other programs, there are not so strict. So in a private preschool, you may not have any sort of standards that you need to meet. They should probably be thinking about how your children in your program are working toward kindergarten readiness standards, because that's the next step. But what we want to do when we're looking at a program is look at children's progress and teacher performance, curriculum development, family involvement, financial structure, the community at large, and the governing structure of the organization. If all of those things are working well, then the actual program that the children are doing should be working well. And programs should be setting goals for themselves, because we should always be improving. So looking at how we can improve and where we can improve is important. And then to acquire accreditation, you know that NAEYC, the National Association for the Education of Young Children, accredits programs. It's a stringent process that you go through to become NAEYC accredited. To be certified by DCFS is not nearly the process that NAEYC is, because DCFS says, do you have a curriculum? What is it? And they don't spend time looking at how it works with children. So they're much more concerned with, have you filled out all the forms for all the children? Is everybody vaccinated? Is your water temperature right? Do you have the right square footage? That kind of thing. Assessment tools. So we talked about the NAEYC accreditation standards. And then we also have infant toddler environmental rating system and the ITERS and ECHRS. ECHRS is early childhood education rating system. Those are some ways that you can assess your program or the program that your children are in, and see if the practice is appropriate. So there you go.